Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by Element, a full-service investment bank for the digital token capital markets.
Our Crypto Trader World Tour continues here from Silicon Valley, where it's a sunny day in the middle of a crypto winter. We're here attending the Blockchain Connect conference, which is a conference designed to bring the thriving Asian crypto scene here to the heart of Silicon Valley. What happens when you bring the biggest names from Asia to Silicon Valley? And is Asia leading the race in terms of blockchain adoption? Join me for the next 60 minutes as we answer all these questions. Where are you from?
Singapore. San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Where are you from?
China.
China.
Where are you from?
Beijing, China.
Hangzhou, China.
Beijing, China.
San Mateo.
From China.
I'm from Gold Coast in Australia.
I'm from Shanghai, China. Fremont, California.
Guangzhou, China.
New York, United States. Singapore, Singapore.
Hong Kong, China. Toronto, Canada.
Where are you from?
Shanghai.
Hong Kong, Changsha, China.
I come from China.
Los Angeles, United States.
And you?
San Jose, California.
Oh, well, it's complicated. I was born and raised in Russia, but now I live in between two cities, Hong Kong and San Francisco.
Wow, that is complicated. And where are you from?
From Beijing, but we're coming back and forth, Beijing and Silicon Valley.
San Francisco?
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
New York.
I'm from Beijing, China.
Anchorage, Alaska.
Xi'an, China.
I'm from Beijing.
Detroit. Los Angeles.
Beijing.
Beijing, China.
Beijing. Beijing.
Beijing! 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 Beijing!
So if you're trying to create a really successful crypto project, or if you're trying to find the next crypto project to invest in, what city do you think is best? Really, a lot of investors are having bias for Chinese projects. Some of them honestly bias American teams because they think the developers are better or more equipped.
Berlin is the best city in the world because it's probably one of the biggest blockchain developer ecosystem.
So after a powerful panel talking to the biggest investors in the space, I managed to get the moderator. Andrew, what are you doing these days? I know you've been around, you've been at the DNA Fund. What are you spending your time on these days?
Yeah, so I've made an incredible track record of just investing in all the top deals in the space so far. So among my friends, they know that I've invested in multiple 100x deals, Aeon and Icon, multiple 50x deals, Wabi, Dragon Chain.
So you've had more than one unicorn?
I've had them all, you name it, right, in the past year.
I'm trying to look for the nugget that I can use to make my own investment. But surely that's not going to get me a unicorn.
Yeah, in a nutshell, I think that the best platform that has that's easy to create smart contracts on and it solves scalability is going to be the major winner for the next app platform. So, right, I mean, Solidity is awful to use, but the next project, whatever it may be, that has high throughput plus easy to write smart contracts will be the major winner.
So now you're talking about easy language to develop in,
yes,
plus scalability.
Yes.
If you look at the landscape today, who's promising that?
There's one and only project that I'm going to say I would convert all my Bitcoins into this one project. It's called Chromaway. They're invented by the Colored Coins team, really famous project from back in 2012. And the CTO and the founding team is really impressive. And yeah.
So you're willing to put your entire stack on one bet, which is called Chromaway?
Yeah.
Okay, now I know you very well and I know your track record, but for our viewers that don't know you, talk about some of the other projects that you've invested in and what your logic was in investing behind them.
Sure. Well, it's all the infrastructure pieces to how to make blockchain a reality. Let's talk about Aeon. It's a cross-chain protocol, a fundamental infrastructure piece to make blockchains interconnect between each other.
That was one of your unicorns?
Yes, that one 120x.
Now, I know you're one of the investors in Quark Chain.
Yes.
What made you get into Quark Chain?
Yeah, it's another fundamentally important problem, right? Throughput. You need one blockchain to have super fast consensus. So I was the third investor, right after two really early stage investors, Pre-Angel and Block VC. I was number 3. And since then, I've created a huge signal in the market for a lot of investors to pile on after that.
Now, you're advising a few other projects in the space at the moment. Can you name those projects? Are they public information?
Of course, yes. I would clarify that I'm a marketing advisor for Orgo, Metadium, and regular advisor for ChromeAway.
So people are more focused in their approach?
Yeah, they're getting smarter. And projects are way oversubscribed for the quality projects, absolutely.
Still even in this bear market?
Very aggressively investing, absolutely.
Crypto Trader continues from the Blockchain Connect conference here in San Jose. And someone who's no stranger to our show is Dai Hongfei. Dai Hongfei is the founder of Neo. And if you recall, we did a full episode of Neo earlier this year. Dai, it's so good to see you. Welcome back to Crypto Trader.
Yeah.
Lots has changed. We last spoke in February, and since then, a lot of things have changed in the market.
Sure.
So now people are calling 2018 a little bit of a winter, a crypto winter.
Kind of.
Do you fall into that category of people that say we're in a crypto winter?
I do think, yes, there are some kind of asset bubble, but the technology itself is very promising. I mean, the blockchain technology. So even if it's the winter, I think the community, the developments, all the projects, the technology will pick up again. Maybe later this year, or maybe next year, or maybe the year after next year. But I have no doubt.
Now, you're in the thick of things, being the founder of a blockchain, and Neo also has a Neo Global Investment Fund, which invests in projects.
Yeah, it's called NGC, Neo Global Capital.
Neo Global Capital. Now, have you guys slowed down in your investments? Have you seen a slowdown in the number of developments being built on Neo in this crypto winter? Or is this just a winter of prices?
I think it's a winter of prices. We still saw a lot of new talents enter into this industry, and they started new, very fancy new projects, and their technology is really innovative. Yeah.
So the development hasn't slowed down at all?
The development hasn't slowed down at all, yeah.
Would you say the development has actually increased in the last couple of months?
I think it's increased, yeah.
So there's a theory that says that the increase in price last year, as unhealthy as it was for some investors, was a very healthy thing for the market, because what it did was it created a whole lot of interest in this thing called the blockchain, created a whole lot of developers, created a whole lot of investment, and now the market's coming back to normality, but those people are all in the system already.
Yes, I think it's there's some truth to it, yes.
So there is truth to that?
Yes, like the dot-com bubble. If there's no dot-com bubble, I don't think the infrastructure of the internet will be so matured before the real boom of internet. Yeah.
Today we look around and there's a whole lot of projects. EOS mainnet has gone live. We've got Hashgraph, which has come in with this new DAG technology. We've got a whole lot of other companies coming in. Do you see the market as almost saturated with these new blockchain type projects?
We have dozens of new public blockchains, infrastructures, like smart contract platforms launching. Yes, the competition is fierce. Yeah.
Do you think it's competition? Do you think that there's going to be, at the end of this whole thing, there are going to be 1 or 2 or 3 winners? Or do you think we're going to have multiple blockchains for...
We will have multiple blockchains. It won't be only 1, 2 or 3. We probably will have maybe 5, 10 or maybe 20. But no more than 50, definitely, yeah. Competition means the technology will evolve and everybody will benefit from the involvement.
So you welcome the competition?
I welcome the competition.
Now let's talk about some of the developments at Neo. You mentioned that we're publishing a new white paper at Neo. Tell us a little bit about the new white paper and what the difference between the old white paper and the new white paper is.
We're still drafting it. It's not yet, it's not ready. Under the new design and the new version of Neo, the Neo token used to be undivisible. The minimal unit is 1 Neo token, and it costs some troublesome. So we are trying to change it. So in the future, Neo token will be divisible. just like Ether or Bitcoin. Yeah, that's one of the biggest change.
Now, ERC 721 or non-fungible tokens seem to be a big theme for 2018. A lot of our guests on this show and on previous shows have spoken about the importance of this non-fungible token. Does NEO have a non-fungible token, and does NEO have a non-fungible token strategy?
Yeah, we have. We just we have a standard, just get submitted, just get approved. Yeah, and it will be merged into our main branch. Non-fungible token is also a strategy for NEO, because we do think gaming is very when gaming meets blockchain, they just have chemicals. Those digital assets, collectibles, can be traded on blockchain, so it's a perfect match.
Where do you think NEO lands up in 5 years' time? Is it going to be...
Our goal is very clear. We want to be the best, the best smart contract platform, the best public blockchain by 2020. So in 5 years' time, that's our goal. Yeah.
And what would make you the best public blockchain by 2020?
I think the biggest issue relies on the developers community. We need to become the favorable platform for developers to become the #1 blockchain in the world.
With me, I've got Jun Lee, who's the founder of Ontology. Jun, welcome to Crypto Trader.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Congratulations, you finally launched your mainnet. I'm sure it's been a long road to get to the mainnet.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
I want to go backwards. Let's go back to the beginning. How did you guys launch Ontology? Where does Ontology come from?
Okay, before the Ontology, we have a company called On-Chain, and they have do the technical service for enterprise financial institution already 2 years. We found that we need a public blockchain can support a real business scenario, and we found currently the public blockchain difficult for this part, so we want to build a new infrastructure and a new architecture, so we build an Ontology project.
So On-Chain is the same company that Dai Hongfei, the founder of NEO, was involved in, is that correct?
Yes. Dai also is founder of the On-Chain. I'm co-founder of On-Chain. We built the company together, yeah.
And you mentioned that there are problems with the current public blockchains. What are the problems with the current public blockchains?
Actually, several issues or challenges they're facing, but the two important is one, of course, the performance issue. Because when you want to support a real business scenario, a lot of the large scope users, and you need performance support that. It's currently public blockchain difficult to handle this part. Another is a lot of specific requirements from different industry. They need this kind of customization requirements for the infrastructure level, not only decentralized application level. So we need another new architecture to design that, to support that. So that is two issues.
So two problems. One, of course, is scalability and performance, which all the blockchains are struggling to solve. And the other one is customization for specific industries. So what is Ontology, and how does Ontology solve that problem? Okay,
it's two strategies. One is in this infrastructure level, we use a chain network. That means not only single public blockchain, it's multiple public blockchain. You can use multiple public blockchain, private, different kind of common service. And also you can use Ontology framework to customize your own blockchain based on different business scenario. They can support that for part.
So is Ontology actually a blockchain, or is it an infrastructure or a platform where other people can launch their blockchains?
Yes, the Ontology, you not only can build your own the apps, decentralized application, you also can build your own public blockchain based on your business scenario. Yeah.
So is Ontology a blockchain, or is it a platform where anyone can launch their own blockchain?
It's both. Ontology have the blockchain or multiple blockchains, running blockchain, private, the common service, and other people development or team, they can use Ontology framework to build their own blockchain and link to the Ontology blockchains as a chain network to work together. So it's platform.
So it's a network of blockchains where anyone can link into it. You can create your own blockchain. You can link into the shared infrastructure. You're a suite of tools to help people work with a blockchain.
Yes, and reuse the common modules for your own blockchain.
So, I mean, it's a whole ecosystem for people who want to build blockchain applications.
Yeah, the application supports a real business scenario, not only digital assets part.
Now, I was a holder of NEO tokens, and I received Ontology tokens in an airdrop.
Okay.
So let's talk about the token distribution process for Ontology. Did you guys do an ICO? Did you guys actually sell tokens into the market?
No, we haven't do any ICO to the individual investor directly. We just use airdrop to send the token to our community member or Neo community member for free.
So you launched your mainnet now. Yeah. Are there any companies or projects, big projects that you want to talk about that are going to use Ontology and can become use case applications for Ontology?
Yeah, we already have several use cases currently integrated with Ontology. The cases cover, for example, distributed advertising system. You can do a distributed advertising management or mechanism to do that, and also include the financial service, risk control, and the credit score service to support that, and also include the IoT devices, smart devices, IoT network service on that. So already cover different kind of real scenario in Ontology.
If you've been in the crypto world for more than 30 minutes, there's no doubt that you know that Binance is the biggest exchange in the crypto world. What you may not know though is that Binance is less than a year old. Yep, the biggest exchange in the world is less than 1 year old. And what you also may not know is that this big exchange actually has a venture capital arm called Binance Labs. Tech, what is Binance Labs?
So Binance Labs is the venture arm of Binance. We do primary investments into token projects or crypto projects. We invest in both tokens and equity. We also have something called the Binance Ecosystem Fund, where we deploy capital into other funds that we want to collaborate with. And sometimes we also would like to incubate projects that are very, very early stage, help them through a lot of token design and go-to-market strategies and things like that.
So I've got a whole lot of questions for you. First of all, is Binance Labs actually owned by Binance?
Yeah, we're part of Binance. We're all employees of Binance. We're just a group of 6 that goes out there and talk with a lot of projects out there and do diligence on those projects and help support the ecosystem.
So you've got the Binance Exchange, which lists a whole lot of tokens. You've got Binance Labs, which is a fund that invests in projects that may be tokens. Does it mean that if Binance Labs invests in my company, that the token is going to be listed on Binance?
That's not necessarily true. We have our own separate processes. We do communicate and do share diligence, but they have their own process. We have our own diligence process, and they make their own decisions and we make our own decisions.
And how old is the Binance Labs business?
We've been around less than 3 months old, so we're a very, very new team.
And the funds that you guys are deploying, how big is your fund?
So we invest off the balance sheet. We don't have a target amount to deploy into each project, so it's on a case-by-case basis. Depends on how much they're raising and how much allocation they want to allocate to each investor.
And the type of projects that you're looking at, are there any specific sectors that you're looking at?
We're typically very broad-minded, but there's some low-hanging fruit ones that we look at, things like new public blockchains, wallets, custody solutions, decentralized exchange technologies, stable coins, and other like token platforms where...
And at what level should a project come to you? Are you guys very early seed stage investors? Should the project have a white paper written? What's your ideal sweet spot in terms of when projects should come to you?
We tend to like projects that are very early stage with a good idea of what they're doing, coming with a strong team, very motivated in trying to disrupt a certain category or change the way things are in certain category.
So I must ask you a question, because if you look around, and we're at a great conference here today, there are thousands of people trying to raise money for projects. You guys are a new company, you've been around for 3 months. How do you get through all the applications? How do you decide what to look at?
We tend to work with a lot of other funds in the space, so they help us filter, help us prioritize. And as a team, we have a team of 6 right now.
So a team of 6 people, how many investments have you looked at in the last 3 months?
We probably looked at over 100, and we've committed investing in 4 so far.
How would you compare yourself to like something like EOS?
Like for us, like basically we are focusing on horizontal scalability with sharding technologies. But a lot of questions people ask me, oh, what is sharding and why it works? And say, hey, actually sharding is not a new term that invented for blockchain. Actually already exists in the centralized system for decades.
If the name Quark Chain doesn't ring a bell to you, then you simply haven't been paying attention. Because despite the bear market, Quark Chain has been one of the most successful ICOs in 2018. With me, I've got their founder, Chi Ju, who's just got off the stage. Chi, welcome to Crypto Trader.
Nice to meet you.
A lot of our viewers haven't heard of Quark Chain. Who is Quark Chain? What do you do?
So Quark Chain is a target to next generation blockchain that address the blockchain scalability issue. So we are a team from Google and Facebook who work on their large-scale infrastructures, and so that we would like to utilize these mature technologies and apply them to the blockchain world to address this scalability problem.
So scalability is the biggest problem in blockchain at the moment, but they say that if you want to have a scalable blockchain, then you've got to give up on either decentralization or security. Is that true?
I think there's definitely have some trade-off between security, decentralization, and also like scalability.
Yes, so how do you achieve scalability at Quark Chain?
The basic idea is to employ a technology called sharding. Sharding actually is not a new term in the computer science. It has been used extensively in the large-scale distributed systems in Google and Facebook to address their scalability problem. And so we see there's a trend in this area that people are originally working on we call vertical scalability, which basically improve the single blockchain performance.
Yes.
And now, from centralized world, actually people also work from vertical scalability to the horizontal scalability by using sharding technologies.
Okay, now sharding is a word that's used quite a lot in blockchain, especially when we refer to scalability problems. Yes. Ethereum is also introducing sharding. Yes. Surely sharding cannot be the difference between where we are today and, I mean, people were talking about 10,000 transactions per second.
Let me take an analog. Like right now, suppose the current blockchain is kind of country road. Like it's still a little muddy. So even we have a good applications like Porsche and Lamborghini, it cannot still run at full speed. Now people try to make the road much better, like using like concrete, put on concrete so that the car can run much faster than before. But sharding technology is like, instead of like improved single road, it just creates multiple roads like our highway, so that cars can run in parallel, no matter what kind of the racing car, truck, or common like cars, sedan.
I'm going to ask you a little bit of an awkward question. We have Ethereum. Ethereum has got a very big developer community. They were the first to market, or one of the first to market on smart contract technology, and they've certainly positioned themselves like that. Yes. And then we have a whole lot of these new blockchains which are coming in and saying that they're going to do a much better job than Ethereum. Does this put Ethereum at risk? I mean, can we refer to these new blockchains as Ethereum killers?
So I won't say, for example, we are doing a better job than they did, but we are just have different focus. Now Ethereum is also moving their focus to scalability. Even like, for example, there are a lot of these existing applications that are already built on top of Ethereum, and we believe they still have a strong market there. But I feel there's still a huge space in the blockchain application perspective. Once this one of two killer applications that appear on these areas, that may be like next, I would say maybe Google or Facebook. And so we are very excited to see that one day that will come.
So do you think we're going to live in a world where there are multiple blockchains and people are going to develop on multiple blockchains? Or are we going to at some point have some kind of consolidation where, say, 3 or 4 of the blockchains actually survive?
I think highly depends on applications. As long as one blockchain has a unique position for some applications, then it will definitely still exist and serving these applications. So for us, we are more targeting for more horizontal space, which with each space in different domain that actually people can actually interact. One simple case is payment. Another case is like more, for example, supply chain.
Do you think that Silicon Valley is going to remain the Silicon Valley of the blockchain?
So I feel like Silicon Valley for now, it is still the hub, but I see a lot of exciting things happening in Seoul, in Europe.
Silicon Valley is a bit lagging. They're lagging behind quite a bit in terms of the understanding of the application of blockchain and how to be used in real life situations.
Perhaps, but when it comes to the quality of engineering quality and the team quality, still everybody wants to be in San Francisco.
I think actually Silicon Valley is the hub for blockchain.
Well, at least in terms of the amount of ease of access to capital, perhaps.
There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of funding coming out of China and a lot of projects. I just think it's different.
I think it's not about competition. Competition is important. It's more about cooperation. So we need to make the best of the world together.
Certainly having been in Silicon Valley, having the privilege of having this, there's no question that Silicon Valley is bringing it to the blockchain. So yeah, we're going to see a competition emerge, but I think China is the one that I'd pick right now.
Equal. Do you feel that Asia is ahead of Silicon Valley?
By a landslide.
I think we have our own strengths, so we learn from each other.
I think it's on par.
Asia.
Asia.
Definitely Asia.
Asia.
Absolutely, mass adoption, and a lot of large traditional PE VC are heading the space right now.
What do you guys think?
I would disagree. I just look at Hyperledger and Ethereum. Those are plenty good blockchains, Cosmos. But Asia definitely has its competitors.
Who do you think is ahead when it comes to blockchain adoption? Is it Asia or is it the USA?
Right now I think Asia may be slightly ahead, but US has more potential in my opinion.
People from Asia driving the demand, Silicon Valley will provide the technology.
Yeah, I think we'll all agree on Asia right now is definitely adopting at the consumer level.
Ooh, I think Asia's a little bit ahead. I don't think it's a competition though. I think we need to be working together.
Is it the USA or is it Asia?
I guess it's the USA.
Yeah, me too. I think the USA will lead the trend and eventually will come back here for the biggest market.
I would have to say, as of now, probably Asia.
There are a lot of people in the U.S. proportionately that do like the technology, and I think that a lot of advancements are coming out of here, so I'd like to say U.S.
Do you think that a conference like this builds a bridge between Asia and Silicon Valley?
No, there's definitely a bridge, and there's actually more than a bridge. There's a lot of communications, collaboration between China and Silicon Valley.
I think the U.S. is playing a wait-and-see type of game, and then we'll jump on and we'll see what happens in the end.
I think there is a bridge, but it's a decentralized technology, so it can be done from anywhere. The key to remember, though, technology is neutral. It can be implemented to really enslave people or to bring a new freedom to humanity. So it's really about how the governments and the world work with this technology to bring humanity to a new level.
That's a great answer, but I don't understand one word that you said. Blockchain Connect really has been one of the more fascinating and interesting conferences that we've been to this year. Bridging the gap between Asia and the Western world, not only in terms of blockchain innovation, but also in terms of blockchain adoption. Next week, we'll be coming to you from Taipei in Taiwan, all the way in Asia. Until then, I'll be available on Twitter at CryptoManRun. Remember, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by Element, a full-service investment bank for the digital token capital markets.